So if you're like me, when 1 o'clock or 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time rolled around, you're probably a little upset when Black Ops 4's beta came on saying you've been disconnected from the Black Ops 4 servers, to which that marked the final ending point of weekend 1 of the Black Ops 4 beta for PlayStation 4. What we have to look forward to is next weekend, starting on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, potentially earlier, because we saw that PlayStation 4 started a day earlier, or rather 12 hours or so early, whatever it may be, but I digress. We have that to look forward to, another weekend for everybody, PC, Xbox One, as well as PS4, to have their hands on again with Black Ops 4's multiplayer before we run into Blackout next month with that beta. But that said, as of this past weekend, we have seen quite a bit of feedback from the community and Treyarch's transparency on the entire matter at hand. They talked a lot about everything. There was a 3-day beta update on Reddit, day 1, 2, and 3, and by 3, we ended up getting a lot of what we'll see coming in next week's beta. So that said, today we're going to be breaking down some changes. We can take a look at some things that are going to be brand new in next week's Black Ops 4 beta, and anything that may be hidden throughout. So that said, let's jump right into it. Starting out this address from Treyarch, they ended up mentioning some things that they started to do at the very end of this weekend's beta. So such things including adding Kill Confirmed to the Chaos TDM playlist and set that also as the featured playlist. So no longer is it just TDM with 6 players, as well as the ability to choose 2 specialists in one game, but also the ability to have Kill Confirmed in on all of that. So same rule sets and everything apply, just in Kill Confirmed. Then additionally, they ended up saying they fixed several spawn issues that were discovered in Domination thanks to the community's feedback. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean spawns in a sense of logical systems, but we'll talk about that in just a second. They ended up saying also that they added the functionality to lock the specialist mid-match in Search and Destroy to prevent players from dying when switching specialists, because that obviously would be really bad. You go and switch your specialist and then your team is down a player then. But on top of that, capping it all off, they ended up saying they made numerous stability fixes and performance improvements as well. So that's what was implemented here in the past day and a half or so, but what about what's coming up? Well, the first thing they initially mentioned is that there's going to be a title update for week 2 of the beta in Black Ops 4. Now, I don't know if this is something we've had previously, and if I'm guessing off the top of my head, I think this might be the first time we have a title update in the beta compared to recent years. I know we've had slight updates that are just playlist updates, but a title update, for those of you guys that don't know, is much bigger than something that is, hey, we have new game settings, restart your game. That actually requires you to download an actual update, so we might be seeing version 1.01 or 1.02 of the beta for Black Ops 4 instead of just going in and initially launching the same exact app that, say, PlayStation 4 users have had already. So a title update indicates a lot more stuff coming in weekend 2, which is obviously great to look forward to, but kind of crazy to think about also. Now, while a title update sometimes means a lot more content, they did also state that this title update addresses a lot of large-scale issues as well. So as for how much is content and how much is tuning and improvement, we don't know just yet, but we do have a relative understanding of what some things will be included in that title update. The first of those being score streaks. Now, they said we've made a big pass at tuning the effectiveness of score streaks that are underperforming. This includes expanding the Hellstorm cluster lock-on radius, increasing the damage per shell of the lightning strike, upping the health of the sentry turret, increasing the strike team's weapon accuracy, improving the strafe run's plane pathing, and increasing the attack chopper's targeting capabilities. Personally, I think this is a solid start. I definitely think that everything named here is a great addition and some things that I would even as well recommend if I were to give direct feedback to Treyarch on some things that needed to be changed or adjusted with score streaks. One thing that I definitely found using the attack chopper a lot is that it felt like it underperformed for the amount of score needed to end up doing this. One other thing though that I would suggest here on top of this is I'd like to see some of those lower tier things like a UAV and a counter maybe brought down a little bit in score, simply because 550 score, if you're just playing TDM, that's quite a bit of kills that you have to get in terms of getting relatively a low level streak and something that lasts what seemingly is about 15 to 30 seconds. Maybe I'm crazy on that, but that's a little bit of other feedback that I would toss in as well if given the opportunity. But score streaks are definitely going to have an adjustment here given to us for weekend 2, so when you jump in on Friday, possibly Thursday, you might have a noticeable difference in some of the streaks that you end up calling in. Another big one that was mentioned was the movement, to which they said, as promised, we've also made some modifications to locomotion, namely to reduce the amount of bunny hopping plus sliding combo moves. We've realized how important locomotion is to the feel of the game, so this is always a delicate balancing act and we're taking it slow, starting with reducing the global jump height by 5 units, slowing down very slightly the acceleration of sliding, and jumping multiple times in a row will now scale down jump height with each subsequent jump. Now personally, I'm all for a portion of this. To me, I don't think there needs to be much change to the sliding, but it is something that I guess I understand where they're coming from, where it might have a little bit too much speed. But the one thing that I am very happy will be adjusted is not only the global jump height, but also the issue of bunny hopping and having each jump subsequently lowering you until you have a slight cooldown between jumps. So that's something that of course was abused a little bit here within week 1. There was even one portion of some of the gameplays that I came in contact with where not getting one time some guy bounced back and forth twice on each side, so 4 jumps in total, to which if you're not hip firing or you're not somebody that may have the most precise of aim, that is insanely hard to keep up with. So in that sense, it was definitely a little bit of an exploit there with that system, and while granted it wasn't necessarily a glitch, it was something that gave an advantage to somebody that may, dare I say, abuse that system. Additionally, as for the jump height, that's something that I'm totally all for. Once again, 5 units isn't all that much in the grand scheme of things in game, so in that sense, it's not going to be something like they cut it in half, I would imagine, but it will be something that is changed a little bit, because if you took a look at the jumping within Black Ops 4 to begin with, it was right around the head level of a character if you took a look at how high a character model could jump. So it was quite high, and definitely that would throw off the aim tremendously and gave, once again, jump shotting definitely a little bit of an advantage there to go along with that. So those movement aspects are going to be changed and again will be in place as of this upcoming weekend. After that, some maps and modes will be adjusted here for weekend 2 as well. They ended up saying that a passive performance optimizations has been made across the board for all maps in the beta to improve the frame rate. If you guys remember, that was something that players were having issues with 45 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and even less sometimes on some portions of maps, to which Call of Duty runs natively at 60 frames or relatively just under, depending on the hardware and system you're playing on, relatively 60 frames per second every year. So to see a massive drop like that is, of course, from a player perspective, a little concerning. So that's something that they made improvements here for that it'll be better and it shouldn't have those issues anymore. Additionally, they ended up saying they have a global spawn improvement as well for various maps and modes. I'm all for that because that was my biggest complaint here probably out of the beta, and I realized that it was the beta, it was the first initial showing of this to a large audience of players where it could actually see spawn issues taking place. So I'm all for some changes, and hopefully these changes are good in the long run, but the final thing they mentioned in terms of maps and modes was specifically dealing with Seaside, in which they said they are going to be updating the hardpoint locations and rotations on that map. But after that, we end up talking a little bit about specialist weaponry and equipment, to which a lot of people in the community have been voicing their opinions on equipment and the specialists as well, that some of them are OP, some are maybe not OP, and in that sense, that's just relative feedback Treyarch is taking into consideration, and we may see some changes here made around that, to which they ended up saying things like the K9 unit's pathing is something that's been busted as well. So things like that will be changed out, whether minor or large, but I'm not entirely sure just yet, but expect some things to take place with that. The final thing they detail specifically is dealing with armor. That's also something that while they mention it specifically, they don't give all that much because they're planning on doing a very in-depth, detailed post about this in the upcoming days, talking about the design intent and some changes they have in place that are going to go live here for this. So at the very current point, we don't know what will be changing with the Weekend 2 version of armor, but expect something here to be changed a little bit. Other than that, there are still some things in terms of just content we can expect to see. Of course, we will probably have another level cap increase going up all the way to level 40, maybe a little bit after that, but we do see some things all the way up to rank 40 that are still locked behind that rank wall in Black Ops 4's beta, to which some things including the Maddox RFB rifle, the SOG 9mm SMG, the concussion grenade, as well as a few wildcards and score streaks are still locked up, so this will be added in once we see the next level cap increase. As well, Treyarch specifically mentioned that they won't talk about the new map that they saw in the beta trailer, and a secret new mode that they've been keeping under tight wraps, new XP events, and other things alike. Now, of course, while we say they don't mention that, it's all in good fun, and they're doing that as a sort of tease to us that we have some things like a brand new map and a brand new mode that seemingly has never been teased. They're making this sound like it's a brand new game mode reveal and something that's pretty massive, so we'll see what that actually in turn holds. Hopefully it's not something like Uplink where they're going to tease that, because that was something that was found via a domination glitch in which the Uplink ball as well as portals were seen. Hopefully that's not the big under tight wraps reveal they're gonna have. Some people are saying Blackout. Personally, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna tease anything even until shortly before the Blackout beta happens as of next month, but we'll see in time, because we are once again just a few short days away from weekend 2 of the Black Ops 4 beta. That said, we have a title update here coming for Black Ops 4's beta in just a few short days, potentially Thursday, but still right now slated as a Friday 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time release for weekend 2 across the board on Xbox One, PC, as well as PlayStation 4 again. So hopefully you guys are getting excited for that, to be able to get more hands-on time once again. And of course, for you guys experiencing it for the first time, super excited for you guys to get your hands on and hear your thoughts and feedback on the game once you play it a little bit. But that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of these changes that are going to be implemented? Are you guys a fan? Maybe not so much, or are there things that you would like to throw in on this list that hopefully we can end up seeing changed in time? Whatever it may be, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty Black Ops 4, anything regarding updates, news, best class setups, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here up on the channel, so if any of that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram, getting a little more active over there, so that link is also a great spot to follow me if you want to get connected a little bit further. But that said, hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. Take care, and peace.